Hello, my name is Ann Purvis and I'm one of the coordinators of the Toronto Field Naturalist Juniors. This is a slideshow of photos that have been submitted by some of our members because we like to share our nature adventures with each other. Sonia and Marina have encountered some interesting insects this last week. The insect on the left is a stink bug. It is a bug because it has piercing and sucking mouth parts. Stink bugs are named from the smelly chemicals they shoot out when they are attacked. These do not always repel birds. There is a story, however, about a stink bug caught in a spider web. It managed to hit the spider with its smelly chemicals. The spider retreated, gagged, and regurgitated whatever it had in its mouth. The mouth parts of this stink bug are not chewing, so it could not chew through the web to escape. It used its stinky chemical to corrode the web strand by strand till it escaped. The bug on the right is an oil beetle, Meloe impressus, that lives on the ground and cannot fly. The blue scales at the front of the abdomen are the very short wings. The larvae of this bug hatch from eggs on the ground and then climb flower stalks and wait for visiting bees. They climb aboard the bee and get carried back to the bee's burrow. Once inside the burrow, they molt and then consume the nectar and pollen the bee had stored there for its own offspring. Wow, bees have challenges. This is the European mantis. We saw one of these last week as well. You can see the bullseye on the upper left leg right here. This is very distinctive of this particular mantis. This mantis has been introduced from Europe to help control insect pests on crops. It would be a good challenge for us this week to see if we could find the egg case. It looks like hardened foam, about 1.5 inches long, and is usually attached to something upright, like the leg of a picnic table or an old stem of a plant. The eggs overwinter and hatch out in the spring. It is also possible to purchase an egg case and raise the babies. For some of us who might want a new challenge next summer, you purchase quarter-sized crickets at the pet store to feed them, and you can see that mantises are very friendly. They don't fly away when they're crawling around on your hand. And here is the handsome white-marked tussock moth caterpillar. We can find this on birch, oak, maple, and willow in August. Caterpillars pupate in a grayish cocoon in bark crevices. It takes about 2 weeks for the adult to emerge. The females are flightless and will stay on the remains of the cocoon to lay the next generation of eggs, which overwinter. The males fly around to locate the females. This is a lot to happen before it gets cold in Ontario. I would say this caterpillar is racing against the clock. Amara has been continuing to find some very cool mushrooms. This first mushroom with a very thick stalk is actually a puffball. It is called the pestle-shaped puffball. Great name for it. Small puffballs have an opening at the top in the center, which we can't actually see very well. When rain hits the outside surface of the spore sac, the walls collapse and a huge puff of dark brown spores escape from inside. We are seeing a lot of this genus Amanita right now. This must be the season when it fruits. I believe this is Amanita flavoconia, which fruits on the ground in woods. We know that a mushroom is not nearly the whole organism. There are thousands of kilometers of hyphae, or strands of the fungus in the soil. These are bringing water and nutrients to tree roots and getting sugar in return. I cannot see a striate margin, i.e. stripes along the edge of the cap that distinguish it from the other amanitas. This is a large white mushroom Amara and Pamela photographed. We can see a lot from these photographs they have taken, such as the shape of the cap, its size, color, and what it is growing on. So all of these things are extremely helpful. However, if we want to identify a mushroom, it is very handy if we can get a couple of other views. It is fine to pick one mushroom if there are a number in the area. It is like picking a raspberry off a bush because the mushroom is just the fruit, as we described above. If you turn the cap upside down and take a picture of the gills, that is very helpful. You can check to see if the gills are attached to the stalk or they are free, i.e. not attached. You can sometimes guess the color of the spores from the color of the gills. This will help with figuring out what the mushroom is. This is Japanese parasol. Often it is white or beige, and we might see it in a park in the grass. It is very delicate, and this is a perfect name for it. It ages to this darker color. Thanks, Samara, for these lovely fungi photos. We had a leader join us last year, Nick Ypelaar. Nick is a biology student at U of T, but also works as a park interpreter at Awenda Provincial Park. Awenda is in Toronto's backyard, and it is a great place to enjoy nature. This is a movie Nick gave us of some of the work he has done with families at Awenda. Nick has also contributed to trail clearing, Phragmites and DSV removal, and taken splendid photos. The next 3 slides are Nick's, but we're going to watch this video of some of his work at Awenda first. This is a photo of a hooded warbler that was taken in late August by Nick at Awenda. Awenda Provincial Park would be at the very northern limit of the hooded warbler's range. This is how we know that this warbler was not in migration. This is a male warbler in adult plumage, so probably spent the summer in the park. He would have defended a territory while the female built the nest in a low shrub. Both the male and the female would have contributed to the feeding of the young. This is a Blandings turtle, one of our turtles that is at risk in Ontario. It is the only turtle we have with this bright yellow throat. The video at the bottom of this blog post describes how 2 biologists are seeking to figure out what threatens Blanding turtle populations in the wild. It is hopeful to see the careful field research that is being done. Maybe one of our group will do this kind of work someday. Nick also sent this photo of a dragonfly. We had a blog post about dragonflies earlier in the summer, but at this time of year, quite different dragonflies occupy the airspace. We learned about the 2 large groups of dragonflies, the skippers and the darners. This is a darner. Remember, darners have blue on the abdomen. I believe it is a shadow darner because of the clear green markings on the thorax, which are outlined in black. The shadow darner likes shady places, which is where the name shadow comes from. And I just want to say, if anyone was inspired by that wonderful movie that Nick sent in about nature arts, then I would recommend that you join the Strickland TFN nature class, which is happening this fall, every Wednesday at 4:30 by Zoom. And each week we will be doing art, we will be journaling from nature, and we will be challenging you to find cool things to photograph or draw and send in for the next week's slideshow. So hope to see you there.